Bossman Show, joined by a friend of the show, Coach Casey Alexander of the Lipscomb Bison up there in Nashville. Coach, how you feel up there at Lipscomb, man? Getting ready to go to New York up there, man, and play those Wichita State Shockers, man.
It's been good. Guys are having fun, excited about the trip ahead, opportunity that's in front of us. Nice to be playing this time of year.
You got that right, Coach, and I know how much you love this team that you have, man, getting coach these guys still into late March and then into April now. So how did you keep your team focused, Coach, after not getting to this NCAA tournament, losing that tournament game at home there, keeping your guys focused on the task at hand in the NIT?
Well, I'd be lying if I said it was easy. We took a few days to lick our wounds, and, we had about a week before we even knew where we were playing, when we were playing, who we were playing, anything else. And so we actually needed that time. But, once we figured that out, and then especially once we got that first win over at Davidson, a really good team and a tough place to play, all the juices were flowing again and kind of back to business as usual now.
Speaking of that game, Casey, I mean, you were down the majority of that game, man. You was down, the crowd's going crazy, but then your guys in the second half, about 5 minutes to go, turned it all around, and you held and those guys shot well, 51%.
Yeah.
They made 11 threes, and you guys still got the job done at their place.
Yeah, it said a lot about our team, I thought. Just them being, hanging in there and staying with it and playing from behind really the whole game, but, making some tough plays and finally giving ourselves a lead. And once we took the lead, we kept it, and, guys made big plays down the stretch. And so, at that time we thought, man, that's a heck of a win. It's going to be hard to be better than that, but I think we've won up to a time or two since then.
You got that right, Coach, and I feel like in that Davidson game, you playing 9 guys tough, and they only playing 6 men. I feel like the war of attrition, they ran out of gas and helped you all as well. So they were still shooting well, playing well, but you all got the job done because you had more men to throw at them.
No, I agree with that completely. We like to play a deep bench. We were a real high tempo team, and so we know we're going to have a lot of possessions in the game. And I just don't like having guys out there playing tired, and for them to play as hard as we play on both ends of the floor. I mean, largely everybody plays hard defensively, but we play pretty hard offensively with pace. And so I like to keep guys fresh and give other guys opportunities. And I do think that was the difference in that game.
Now, look at the Greensboro game. I feel like that game was a big game for you guys because they were supposedly was the first team out per the committee, and I feel like y'all should have got in. My personal opinion, y'all should have got in the tournament. My personal opinion, but I know probably the guys felt the same way too. Like, hey, we should have been in there. They should, I know we didn't get in, but we can show these people we're Lipscomb. We can have a lot going for ourselves here. And you went there at the Greensboro Coliseum, played really well, excellent ball movement, held them guys on the 40% shooting, and it was close for a while. Then you blew open there, kind of close to that victory as well.
Yeah, it was a different kind of game. We traded baskets for the first 6 or 8 minutes, and then took the lead. I think we were up 8 or 9 at halftime, and then then I looked up with 8 or 9 minutes to go, and we were up 27. And so that was just kind of a really good last 30 minutes. Guys played really hard, played really well on both ends of the floor, and we didn't do anything spectacular, but it was just incrementally, extending the lead, and then then it was over. So it was nice. I mean, that team is really good. As you mentioned, they were the first team out of the brackets. They were the number 1 overall seed in NIT, and that crowd was good too. So it was nice to go in there and get that one as well.
I know they have a player of the year in SoCon as well. Westmore does a great job, and when I saw the score, I was like, wow, because I know Greensboro is very good. Their problem comes with Wofford, and you guys were putting a whooping on them. I'm like, man, Casey's team is playing well.
Yeah, we did. We scored 4 points. We only scored 4 points in the last 8 minutes of the game, and still won by 18. So it was a good day.
Yes, indeed. And then you go back to Carolina again, to Rose Coliseum on NC State's campus, a very historic place to play ball at. First of all, how was that environment in Reynolds? First of all, I know it's been around for many years, and that place had so many great games. How was it just playing that place against that team?
Literally could not have been any better environment. I was coaching a team that played at Kansas, and that was pretty special, and obviously more people, but the crowd that we had at NC State, I mean, from the national anthem until the final buzzer, they were very loud. It was completely full. Students were great. You could sense their great tradition, and what basketball means to that fan base. And so it was a true road game, which is kind of my favorite part of being able to win the game. I mean, obviously the stakes were high, and we're playing for a chance to go to New York City and Madison Square Garden. But to go on the road in the ACC in a really tough environment and go toe to toe and win the game says a lot about our team, I think.
Now, Casey, on the play with Kenny, did you just want to call a timeout on that play? You was going to let him go no matter what and let him make a play there?
No, we weren't going to call a timeout at all. We just had a timeout when we took the lead. And so in that timeout, we talked about every scenario. Obviously, if we held them, then they would have to foul us. So that part was easy. But, and then what we choose to do just depends on if they score, what we do depends on how much time is left on the clock. If there's 3.0 or more, we're going to do this. If there's 2.9 or less, we're going to do this. And, so we just want to get the ball in and race down the floor and, try to have as quick of a transition as we can. And we weren't able to do that necessarily, but, I think it's better for the offense, when you make the defense, get back in transition and play on their heels and they don't have time to communicate, and you think you got a better chance to score. Conventional wisdom says, hey, call timeout, make sure your guys know what they're doing, but our guys knew what we were doing. We just had timeout. And so I don't want the defense to have the chance to set up and talk about it and how they're going to defend and who's going to guard who and everything else. So that's what we choose to do.
Now, Casey, on that play, as you watch, you can see they were confused a little bit whether to come to him or not or stay with the shooter. So your theory works out because you see it right there. As you watch that, watch the replay, they were confused a little bit there.
Yeah, well, it's natural. It's real natural for everybody in that moment to celebrate for a second or two. I mean, even if the guys are locked in, it's still going to take them a second to find their man and realize, oh my gosh, they're playing. They didn't call timeout. We got to get back. And so, I'm not going to pretend we got a great shot, but, in that circumstance, we got a pretty good shot.
Hey, as long as it goes in, it's a great shot.
No doubt. No, the result was great.
Yes, indeed. Now, Garrison, also, he set a record for you guys at Lipscomb, scoring 44 points, and since you're being D1, he hitting and going in that hostile environment, giving you all those points, man. You had to love seeing that from your leader, Garrison, there.
Yeah, pretty impressive. A guy that's literally playing to save, to keep his career going, and in that kind of moment to, go in there. And he set a record there too. That's the most points by an opponent in Reynolds Coliseum. And so there's been a lot of good players come through there, and kind of a magical night for him. But nothing too out of the ordinary. He a lot of points, but he just did it the way he does it, and he did it from start to finish. And that's how you rack him up, I guess.
Now, Coach, I'm pretty sure you've racked up so many bus miles going I-40 East North Carolina. You're glad to get on a plane to go to New York now, aren't you?
Yeah. You know what? NCAA's been good to us, though. We've flown everywhere. So.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, they've been all flights, and we've had 2 or 3 charter flights, and so they've made it nice for us. But we're excited about where we're headed.
Now, Coach, I know you have this stat. You have your 14 now true road wins, the most in the nation now.
Yeah, that's it's pretty crazy. And then you think about, we played all of our tournament games at home. We didn't play any road games in the tournament. So to be sitting here right now and to be able to say that is, I think it's a good sign of kind of what kind of team we have. A lot of veterans, a lot of guys that have played in a lot of games that aren't going to get too worked up, considering whether home or road or whatever. But the irony for me in this week is this game on Tuesday in New York will be our first neutral site game of the season. So we haven't had a neutral site game yet.
Wow, that's very interesting fun fact there. At game 35 or 6 for you, first neutral game of the year. Wow, the most of your teams play in one of those holiday tournaments that are exempt or something, But,
or conference tournament, postseason conference tournaments are usually neutral sites. So it'll be unusual.
Now, speaking of that matchup with Wichita State, Coach Greg Marshall does a great job getting his team prepared. They always play hard. So, what do you see for them guys on the film and how you guys can cause trouble with your ball movement and your energy exuding both ends of the floor there, defensively and offensively there?
Yeah, the styles will be different. We are very, well aware of, kind of what makes them tick, and got great respect for how they play, their toughness, their physicalness, good defensively, and so it'll take a real, locked in, focused effort, to have a chance to win the game. But but we like our team as well. We think that, if we go in there with the right kind of mentality and play to win from start to finish, then we'll be in position to do so.
Now, Coach, the NIT has experimental rules right now that they're working with. I want to ask you, do you think these rules will stick after they review how it went this NIT season? And do you like them yourself? Do you want any of them to stick, actually?
I don't mind any of them. The thing that would worry me the most, we're so post-oriented. Even though Garrison's our leading scorer, we play through the post more than most teams do. And so I don't like the wide lane. The wide lane is there to create spacing and open up the paint and make it a little more free-flowing. But I like to feed the post. And so I don't particularly like that one, but that's just because of our style. But I honestly haven't really noticed much difference. I mean, I think in the 3 games combined, I think we're 50% or better from three-point line, maybe. So then moving the three-point line back hadn't bothered me. And Rob Marbury's had good moments, and so the wide lane hasn't bothered him. And the foul thing I like. That's probably the one I like the most and would like to see change the most is resetting the fouls. Like they're doing, they reset them at the 10-minute mark. So I'd like to see some version of that, whether it's going to what the women do, where you play quarters or whatever. I like that change.
I love quarters. I feel like the quarters would be great for you guys. Kind of the NBA rule with the 5 team fouls, the bonus. The 1-1 to me kind of is passe. We need to sync it up at all levels. Even high school, to me, high school needs a shot clock to me, Coach, if you ask me.
No
so
doubt.
every level, we need a shot clock and quarters and 30-second clock or 24, however you decide to do it. But we have it synced up from youth on up to the pros and into FIBA.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that would be just having a universal game. It's the way they play it everywhere else. College basketball is the only one that doesn't have the quarter system. And so I think that would be a good change. And I do think it'll happen at some point in time. I'm not even sure if this is a year for rules changes or if that's next year, but I think it'll happen at some point in time.
That's where I go for you, Coach. Last night at the Hawks game, Coach, I was rocking my Lipscomb Bison hat and my T-shirt, and they gave me heck for it. I said, "Look, my mom went to Lipscomb. Y'all gotta be quiet here. They're going for I'm cheering for Lipscomb. I'm a Lipscomb Bison today."
There you go.
So I was last night at the Hawks game. I had on my Lipscomb hat, my Lipscomb shirt, showing my purple and gold pride for you guys, man.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we've got plenty of room for anybody else who wants to come along. We'll take them.
Yes, indeed. Well, Coach, best luck to you on Tuesday night up there against Wichita State. Hope to talk to you after you guys win that title, man.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks.
My heart skips skipping the beat. You're not close enough, so that space between you and me, let's lose it. The way you're dancing, swaying to the music, girl, that body and how you move it. Every time you cross my mind, girl, I lose it.
Alexa, play the Country Heat playlist.
Okay.
I don't think you know what you're doing to me. You got
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
All right, folks, back here on Gerald the Bossman Show. We're here joined by the new coach of Appalachian State Mountaineers, Coach Dustin Kearns. He previously was at Presbyterian. He's moved on to the Sun Belt Conference now, and Coach Kearns is online with us right now. Coach Kearns, how are things over there in Boone, man?
JR, they're awesome. It's sunny outside. There's a little breeze going, but some warm weather. Great day to be in Boone.
Yes, indeed, Coach. And I know this job is going to be a good job for you because I saw what you did at Presbyterian. In year 2 there, you got those guys going real good in that Big South race there. So how do you feel now being in Boone, leading the Appalachian State Mountaineers back to prominence in the Sun Belt Conference?
Well, that's certainly our destination, okay? And I think that we'll be very process-oriented. I'm not going to we're not going to be set out in goals. We're going to focus on how to get better today, and then we'll worry about tomorrow. But it's exciting here, and I think that there's something special about Appalachian State and the people. And I certainly think this place has got just with our facilities and campus, the leadership team here. The time is now at App State. And it's a lot of exciting things going on.
Yes, D. I was talking to you about you have great facilities, great support for the administration and the fans, and the alumni giving money to the school. And so I feel like you have the support you need to to build a program the right way. And I saw how you built the program at Presbyterian when you was there. So I know coming to App State, you'll be able to build more, build the Sun Belt Conference with the great support you have from all around you.
Sure, and I've been fortunate to be around a lot of great people and coaches, and been able to flip three programs. As an assistant at Wofford, we were able to turn that program around and make it into really a mid-major power. I went out west for 6 years at Santa Clara. The program had 5 out of 6 losing seasons. We were able to turn that program around, and then I got the head coaching job at Presbyterian. We turned it around very quick, and so now that's the expectation here, and certainly ourselves will have the biggest expectations, and that's the standard that we want to set for ourselves.
And Coach Kearns, how do you go about building a program? I know you've been in multiple places where you built it from when it was down, you brought it back up. So what is the process, and if you could share, like, what's the process you and your staff go through to build these programs up from when they've been down for years, and how do you set that standard from day one when you walk in the door with the guys, get them buy into what you're selling?
Sure, JR. I think that one, you just be yourself, and you do what you believe in. I think you set a standard and an expectation of how our culture is going to be, and I think that you got to get your culture right first. And what I mean by that is the standards of really how you're going to be about, what you're going to work like, how we're going to act, and how we're going to go about our business. I think the second thing is recruiting. I think certainly we have a lot to sell here at App State with the Sun Belt Conference, with the facilities, with our great football program and other sports doing well, great academics. This is a 20,000 student body, college town. There's a lot of things to sell, and so I think that once you get your culture right and you take care of the people in the organization, those people then help you recruit more people into the organization and obviously increase the talent and go on. But we've got some great pieces to work with here, some great returners, and certainly a lot of guys we're excited about.
And yeah, Coach, I know when you get a new job, you have to kind of recruit the guys already on the roster and kind of build that bond with them from day one, get that trust with them. So I know you're working real hard to keep guys from transferring out of the program, staying with you, buying into your program and your structure. So how's that been going so far for you as you've been there for a few days there?
Well, good. So far so good, and I think that our meetings with our players and the team here currently, and these are our most important groups, the guys that are here that have chose App State. And so you're right. This is the guys that I'm spending time with and the signees and talking to them and certainly getting ready to begin workouts and things like that. So that is very important. But I think we've been able to have some very good, healthy discussions and conversations, and I think that as we get to know each other better, certainly so far so good. We're all certainly off to a good start.
And I know good thing about getting the job so early is you can actually get on the court with the guys with the 4 hours you have before the semester ends. So I know that you're happy about that as well.
Oh, absolutely. And so, I think that'll help. Once we get on the court and start doing some things, I think that'll even help it more. And, certainly they're good kids, and they're very good kids, and we have some very good players. And so, we're all excited to really get going.
Now, Coach, in the Sun Belt Conference, it's a conference with a lot of great program traditions. You got Texas State out there, Arlington, you got Louisiana, Arkansas, of course, Coastal Carolina. You got a lot of different schools in this conference, Georgia Southern as well. So how you feel about coming into Sun Belt Conference? So a lot of great programs with great traditions there, and now you're trying to build one at App State now.
Well, I think the Sun Belt is really full of really quality coaches and programs and players, and it really is spread out, all the way to Texas. But I think what makes us unique is we're the only school in North Carolina. And, certainly we have a different regional area of recruiting, but this is a very good league. And I think it's a league that's only getting better. And certainly we will accept the challenge to, make App State a winner in the Sun Belt.
And Coach, I know the travel going to probably be a nightmare to go from Texas, from North Carolina this season. I know from covering the league, man, that travel can be hard on coaches, different players. Tell me off the record about the travel. I know that's something you're excited to get into. But I can only imagine having to make those trips like to Texas, and back and forth there, how the league is spread out.
Yeah, that'll be something for me to get used to. That's something I'm not used to, but certainly I'm excited about it. And I think that we got a chance to when we travel those places to recruit those places, and so that kind of gets us into new areas of recruiting, and that's exciting. But certainly that will be something that will be different for me in travel. But yeah, I was certainly excited about it as well.
And one thing I like about the Sun Belt Conference is it's a conference to where guys can get a second opportunity. Like, they get a lot of transfer guys who went to high majors, transfer down to the Sun Belt Conference to play and become world beaters playing at these different schools in the league, and you get good JUCO guys. And you can develop high school seniors into great players in their third and fourth year in your program, depending on if they're redshirted or not. So I'm excited about the opportunities that you can go any way you want to go to build your program out, keep it stable for years to come.
Sure, and we'll build our roster, and we'll attack that. But certainly, that's our goal: is to build a program, not a team, and build guys that are here, and in the program. And but we'll sprinkle. We're open to building it, the roster different ways, and we'll turn over every rock, and we've got to get some kids that come here and say wow, like I did, and because this is a big time place. And I think you make big time is where you are, but we will certainly explore all options with building our rosters. But certainly want to do it with 4-year guys to build that program.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So let me ask you this, Coach. Non-conference scheduling wise, now I know Presbyterian, you probably had to do a lot of games where you were being bought to raise money for your program. Now at App State, is that something still being an option with the results you guys have? Can you go out and schedule aggressively as you want to without having to worry about being bought to raise money for your guys' budget there?
Well, I think that certainly it's a different deal scheduling wise. I think that we've got to, we want to play great people. And I think that, in the recruiting world, basketball players want to go play basketball schools. And I think that, for our fan base and alumni and students, we want to bring some, quality opponents to the home center here. But we also want to go out, regionally and play some great programs and get on national television. And so certainly, the scheduling will be different from what I'm used to, but in the same sense, we want to go out and play the best and put ourselves on great stages.
Yes, indeed. And Coach, I don't know how much Coach watched the NIT, but the rules they've been experimenting with the expanded three-point line, expanding the lanes, the 5 fouls, resetting after 10 minutes in the second half. So are those some rules that you would like them to implement in D1 all the way through? Are you liking what you're seeing so far from that, or is it something that you haven't really put too much thought to as of yet?
I haven't put too much thought into it. One thing that I do like, JR, is I think that college basketball is different, and I think it's, everybody says, hey, let's go to quarters or let's do this to make it the same. Well, I think that's what's cool about college is we're different. We're the only, basketball game that plays 2 halves, and so I like the uniqueness of what we do, and so I kind of am hopeful we can stay unique. And I understand the argument of let's kind of be uniformed as a game and really play the way FIBA and NBA and everybody plays, but it hasn't been that way, and so I think that's something that makes our game unique, and I think there's something cool about that.
I totally agree with that, Coach, as well. The uniqueness to college basketball is one of a kind. The half system, how you the 1-and-1. So I think it has its own sort of plot in the basketball land there, and it shouldn't be messed with. I know guys want to make tweaks and changes, get closer to the NBA or FIBA, but I'm kind of with you there. I'm old school like that. I like it the way it is already. So I just want to ask you why I had you on the line about that, because I've been hearing a lot of stuff about it, different coaches off the air about it. I'm kind of with you. I like it the way it is.
Sure.
That's what I got.
I think if it's not broke, don't fix it. Certainly there's some tweaks and things we can do, but I like the uniqueness of it.
You got that right, Coach. And so last one I got for you is this, Coach. I know you've been at App State trying to get this program going, get the staff hired, but talk to us, like, what have your days been like since you've been there, meeting with different people around the university, people in town, trying to get settled? How's that been?
It has been awesome. Saturday was one of the best days I think our family's ever had. We went to the football scrimmage, met a ton of people. We went over to the softball game, went to the baseball game, went to the women's basketball game as they played the semifinals of the WBI and won. So we've got a championship game here on Wednesday night. And just met so many wonderful people. And, certainly have hit the ground running recruiting-wise, talking to our players, meeting a lot of people and trying to just, get things going. But also I want to enjoy it too. I think that there is a lot of things to do on the to-do list, but we'll get to it. And I think that we kind of got to prioritize it and what's important now. And so that's one thing that I try to kind of worry about, what's important now. And what's important right now is meeting a lot of people, talking to a lot of people like yourself, and promoting the App State brand, and and enjoying doing it. I think that life's too short. We got to enjoy what we're doing, and certainly it's been fun so far.
Yes, dear Coach. I'm definitely looking for you. Hope the schedule make us put you in Atlanta this year. I know the schedule can be something kind of different. Hopefully, see you when you come to Atlanta to play Georgia State here, and I hope you guys have a great transition. Looking forward to talking to you down the road, Coach, and seeing how things going with you guys in Boone up there in App State, man.
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
No problem, Coach. It's Dustin Kearns here on the Bossman Show.
Till the tears run down from my eyes, Lord, somebody, ooh, somebody, can anybody find me somebody to love?
Alexa, play hits from Queen.
Okay.
Somebody to love. Somebody.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
All right, folks, back here on the Boss Man Show. We got one of the new coaches hires here. He didn't get to go very far. He moved up a seed in the world. San Francisco Dons new head coach Todd Golden. Coach Golden, how things out there in the Golden State of California, man?
It's going great, man. It's going great. It's been a crazy couple of days, but my goodness, I'm blessed, and I'm just really excited about this opportunity.
Yes, indeed. And I said, what did it mean to you when the university and the administration actually come to you say, hey, Coach Golden, we want you to take over for Coach Smith, who set a great standard in San Francisco before he got the job at Washington State. They want you to lead the program going forward. So knowing that they wanted you was the guy they honed in on, how does that make you feel?
Honestly, I think it's more of just a response to the players from the standpoint that they wanted, this program is incredibly healthy. Coach Kyle did a great job building this thing up, and we want to just keep it going. Continuity was key. We have 10 returning scholarship players with this group. All 10 are coming back, which is incredibly exciting. And we have a really good thing going, and I appreciate the administration and everybody on campus, believing in me to continue on with this charge.
Yes, indeed. And so now for you, you're moving up one seat there. You make all the choices
Yep.
now. It's all on you now. So how
all on me.
How in this first few days and weeks has been since they gave you given the job here? How's it been knowing that, hey, every decision's on me? Now I don't make suggestions anymore. I make decisions now. So how's that been adjusted from giving suggestions to being the man making decisions now, saying this is how it's going to be?
That's a great question. It's pretty funny because, as an assistant, as an associate head coach, there's plenty of times where, you have a strong opinion about something and, you're just sitting over there and wondering, if it would work or not. Well, now you can have all those strong opinions, but the bottom line is you're going to be responsible for them. And it's a great challenge. And, obviously there's added pressure and everything along those lines, but hey, this is why we do it. This is why we enter the profession. And I just feel great that I've been able to retain a lot of my staff. And like I said, we have great kids in our program who are high achievers both on and off the court. And they're going to make my life a lot easier in this transition.
Exactly, that's very key for you. I saw somebody when they promoted you. I'm like, well, they'll still be okay because he's already been there. He can retain
Yep.
some of the staff if Coach Kyle don't raid the staff, which is which you can
Right,
keep
right.
you can keep most of your staff and keep the players there. They won't feel like I don't know who's coming in here, who from wherever coming in here, and also you
Right.
can keep the guys you're recruiting already kind of in contact with.
Yep.
Say, hey, we're still here. It's just one guy's gone. Don't stop the show here.
That's right. No, that's right. And like my main focus when I was promoted was really just to focus on our current guys. You know, a lot of times when a new coach gets a new job, you know, the program might not be in good shape, and they might have to go out and recruit new student athletes to fill spots and rebuild the program. I'm fortunate that that's not the case here. Like I said, Coach Kyle did an amazing job building the foundation. And to your point, all 10 guys coming back, the 2 scholarship players we have coming in are committed to still be a part of this program moving forward. And it's a very healthy environment and one that I'm just blessed to take over.
Exactly. And also, which you get the job here early, you can run the workouts and implement your system, your style, your plan, your what tweaks you're going to go with since Coach Cal's moved on.
Right. Yep. And the good thing for our guys is that not a lot in that regard is going to change. You know, I think we had a very successful blueprint, successful plan. You know, we're going to coach Kevin Hovde, who I promoted to my associate head coach, who stayed on with us, and I'm very happy about. You know, we're going to try to put our fingerprints on this program a little bit and try to find little incremental ways that we can make improvements. But the bottom line is this program was headed in the right direction, and it's our job to continue steering it that way.
And I know at the major level, player development is very, very key. So as you move into here to April, May, June, and on beyond towards the fall when the season starts again, where's the player development plan to get these guys better? All your returning guys, get them into their games mentally, physically, and emotionally there.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're going to use the spring as a time to really work on our individual offensive game. You know, spring's a time, to your point, to really work on individual skills, whether it be dribbling, whether it be shooting, scoring, driving. And we're going to put these guys through a couple workouts every week where we're focusing on that. And at the same time, we're going to start playing some one-on-one, some two-on-two, even some three-on-three, so we can really continue to work on playing together. You know, using those skills that we're working on in those individual workouts, well, we got to try to implement those in game situations. So we're going to put 2-on-2 out there, just continue to find ways to play together, kind of learn the intricacies of 2-on-2, 3-on-3 basketball, because those situations show up quite a bit in 5-on-5.
You got that right. Like, just like UCF could have won the game against Duke, but they messed up a fast break. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, you said, Coach, those incremental moments when you're doing 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, it shows itself up on a fast break. It's like a secondary break as well, primary break. You might see that. So it's good with those drills now. And you got to be happy you have 4 hours. Now, I know you guys only had 2 hours. You used to only have 2. Then you have 4.
Right.
So you can really get a lot more done with 4 than 2. You know, man.
There's no question about it. And honestly, that was a change that the NCAA made that was really a smart change, right? Because the old rule used to be 8 hours a week, 2 hours on the floor, 6 hours in the weight room. Now they've kind of evened it out, 4 hours on the floor, 4 hours in the weight room. And, you know, it's just better for the players because the bottom line is, you know, these guys are 18 to 22 years old. You know, they're young adults, but they need coaching. They need more coaching. They need more individual attention on the floor. And I think as you see, you know, the years go by, you're going to see more and more skilled players because it's just going to be a result of the coaches being able to mold them better, spend more time with them, and really guide them that way.
Exactly, and like you said, helping develop these guys as men as well. And for us, the classroom now, Coach, what are your philosophy on the classroom, getting these guys to also be student athletes? I know they're athletes, but also become students to leave with their degrees as well.
No, it's the most important thing in our program. And to be honest, we're very transparent about it on the front end. We want guys with great attitudes, great work ethics, and guys that really want to be at San Francisco. And the bottom line is, if you're not taking care of your academic business, then you're not going to play in our program. You know, we've really done a great job achieving in the classroom over the last couple of years. I think over the last 2 years, we have a grade point average somewhere between 3.3 and 3.4. It's remarkable. It's one of the best in the country. We had 4 members of our team on the All West Coast Conference academic team this past year, and I think we have 8 or 9 guys out of our 13 scholarship players last year that made over a 3.2. So We believe smart wins. We believe responsible wins. And, if you're not able to handle your business that way, you're probably not going to be able to cut it to be a Don.
You got that right, Coach. And like I said, I know out in California, a lot of schools have high academic standards. You have to perform in the classroom and on the court to play out there, because I know a lot of schools out there are very big on academics, especially in the UC program and the non-UC program as well. Very academically oriented.
No question. And USF is a very good school, private school, with great curriculum both on the math side and the reading side. And, it just provides our guys with an opportunity to take advantage of the scholarship, right? I mean, these guys are coming in, they're playing basketball. That's really a lot of their primary focus. But at the same time, we expect them to have a similar level of responsibility in the classroom, because at the end of the day, that paper is going to take them a lot further than the basketball will for most of these kids.
And I want to talk about non-conference scheduling, Coach. What's a big thing that came up with the net rankings this year? It's the way tournament where you're going to see Greensboro and Lipscomb to get in the tournament. Also, Belmont got in, but they beat Lipscomb twice to help them with that net ranking. So for you, non-conference schedule in the WCC, which is one of the better mid-major conferences, you have Gonzaga and St. Mary's, who always to begin in the tournament. So how do you go about scheduling these games? I know you got a lot of schools in California that you can play, so you really don't have to be bought per se. You can kind of do it all in that area out there, all the schools you can play. So how you see yourself going about scheduling and you guys tough and getting guys to come to you and play in San Francisco as well, and kind of playing up and down the coast with the schools up from Washington and Oregon all the way through California? They're good programs as well.
Yeah, no question. We really, especially last year going into this year, our goal was to kind of raise the bar in terms of our non-conference opponents in our non-conference strength of schedule. Now, the funny thing is, you can do your best to create a difficult non-conference schedule, but it still is reliant upon the teams that you're competing against to do their part. And last year was interesting because we thought going into the year that we were going to have a very difficult non-conference. We played Stanford, we played Cal, we had Arizona State on the schedule, we played Buffalo over in Belfast, we played Harvard at home, Cal State, Fullerton, who had made the NCAA tournament the year before, Stephen F. Austin, who was a tournament team the year before. But some of those teams did not, achieve as well, whether it was because of injuries or bad luck, to the same level that we expected it to. So our strength of schedule was not great. So all you can do, especially in a mid-major league, is do your best to play difficult opponents, to schedule teams that you think are going to be good, and then let the chips fall where they may. And we kind of talk about it internally. Teams in at large situations, and I don't have the answer necessarily on how to do this, but they should really, in terms of their non-conference strength of schedule, should be judged by what they were doing prior to the year beginning, what those opponents were supposed to finish, because you can't control how they play throughout the year. Teams that, are projected to finish first in their league, well, if they finish sixth, you were trying to play a difficult schedule, and it just didn't work out that way. So we haven't found the answer to that. We're still working through it, but we're trying to raise the bar in terms of who we play in the non-conference.
Yes, indeed. And, Coach, I want to ask you this, Coach Golden, who are some guys in your career, whether it be professionally or personally, who's really impacted your life very greatly to get you to the point where they to be the head coach of USF Don? I know you're a WCC alum as well. So who are some guys who really helped you get you to the point you are today, man?
That's a great question. I've been blessed, to be honest. I've played for and worked with amazing coaches. Started back in high school with Dan Mannix. He's a Brooklyn native out in Phoenix, Arizona, where I grew up. He coached our high school team. We had some great success, won a state championship. And, he's now retired in the Arizona State Hall of Fame with over 500 career wins. When I moved to college, obviously I played for the great Randy Bennett over at St. Mary's, who's still coaching today. I was on a couple of his first teams. The first two teams that made the NCAA tournament for him. And my goodness, for him to be able to do what he has done over the last 20 years is flat out remarkable. He's over 400 wins, beat Gonzaga, who's the number one team in the country in the conference tournament this year to make the NCAA. And he's just a guy that I really feel like, would be a great person to emulate in terms of how to run the program and coach your team. And I'll say this is a great stat, and I love bragging about this. My junior year at St. Mary's, we had 6 staff members on the staff. Five of those men went on to be Division I head coaches. And the last guy ended up being a 40 under 40 Sports Business Daily Journal guy. So I was surrounded by incredibly talented people, great coaches, great men, and they kind of molded me into the man I am today. And the last one, and some people don't know this, but 5 years ago, in years 1 and 2, I worked with Bruce Pearl on his staff at Auburn, trying to help build the foundation before I got back out here to San Francisco. And he was another guy completely different from Coach Smith and Coach Bennett, but another, just another great coach and a guy who really, gets the most out of his players.
Yes, indeed. I want to ask you about the NIT rule changes that I'm seeing so far for in the post out, the lane out there, the 3-point line, the resetting of the fouls there at the 10-minute mark of the half there. So looking at the NIT rules and the experiment they're doing, how are your thoughts on them? Do you feel like these rules will end up in the full D1 games in a year or two maybe?
You know what? It's a great question, and I think the college game, the NBA game, and the international game, at some point they got to get together and try to find a way to make everything a little more similar. When you go from FIBA, which is the Federation of International Basketball, and then play college, it's two completely different games. It really is. From the 3-point line to the key to the shot clock, fouls, quarters to halves, everything like that. And I think that the experiential rules and the NIT, and they do it sometimes in the preseason as well, they are some very similar to FIBA type rules in some certain ways. So I'm for it. I think it's a great time to experience it, to give it a shot and see if we can kind of blend these games a little more to make them more similar.
As being an NBA guy, I love to see them advance the ball in the last 2 minutes of the half because I feel like that gives a team who's down a better chance to win and running up the court. Now, sometimes it works out, but a lot of times it don't. So I'd rather be up in the front court to draw up a play, have a legitimate chance to win the game, not just throwing up a heave, three-quarter court heave, and hoping to go in.
No, that would be a great rule change, and similar to what you were, just speaking about before. I'd be totally for changing the game to 4 10-minute quarters where it's 5 fouls per quarter. And, you'll have a little more scoring. You'll get a little more bonus, but it's just a little more NBA-like. It's a little more professional-like. And I think it's always a good thing if you're able to, in terms of the rules, make the game more like a professional game.
And going to my background in psychology, 4 quarters will help a guy feel like they can come back rather than 2 halves. You're down big at halftime. Right. You got a half. Oh, God, we can't come back. If you got 4 quarters, you're down that big at halftime. Let's get third quarter, knock it out here. We can chip away. They feel like they have more of a chance than they would if it was just 2 halves, per se.
You know what? I never thought about it like that, but that's a great point. It really is. I think, you go into halftime down 15, your goal might be at the end of the third quarter to cut that thing to single digits. Whereas, you go into halftime down 15, what do you say to your team at halftime? Let's make sure we get single digits at some point under the 10 minutes. I don't know. It'd be difficult, but
yes, it's a hard sell there.
It's a very valid point.
Very hard sell. Now, last one I got for you, Coach, is, and I know you told me off there it's been kind of crazy for you these last few days since you've been hired as coach. So talk to us. What has your day been like? What time you get into the office? Who's coming by to see you, man? How's it been? Being the new coach on the big guy on campus now.
You know what? I was nervous that I was going to have to change my phone number for a little bit because I'll tell you, there were some people coming out of the woodwork that I hadn't heard from years. But and my wife, she was getting mad at me, telling me to put my phone on silent when we were trying to go to bed because that thing kept buzzing and vibrating. But it's great, and it's a once. It's your first job is obviously a once in a lifetime opportunity. And, I'm just extremely excited and happy to hear from all these people and, obviously not sleeping a whole lot, but just really excited. Cause like I said, I walked into a pretty unique situation. This isn't like most times where you get your first job. This is a program that's already been built up and I've just been tasked with continuing that trend. And, like I said earlier, I'm glad I was able to retain quite a bit of our staff and, guys that share that same vision, and we're going to give it the best we got.
Hopefully that phone will die down for you real soon, man. So your wife will be mad at you.
That's right. I got to put that thing on silent. I'll be just fine.
All right, folks, back in the Bossman show. Holla at my man in Memphis, J.C. Smith. What's good, bro?
Boss. Man, it's been a long time coming, man. What's going on?
Man, not much, man. Enjoying this March Madness, man. It's all going crazy, man. Just You know, it's going crazy. It's April now. The playoffs right around the corner. Looking forward to it, bruh.
No doubt. I mean, it's been a great little sports run these last couple of weeks, man.
You better believe that. And this is coming across the wire here that Russell Wilson they won't see us give him a new deal. Now, will Russell Wilson really hold out and play the game, or will he eventually fold in your mind?
It's hard to see Russell Wilson holding out. But I mean, but he's deserving of a new deal. You know what I'm saying? So more power to him. You know, I think they'll get something worked out though before the season starts.
No doubt. And what just happened this week was the AAF suspended operations. The AAF seems, I mean, like Birmingham seems to be popping in Birmingham to a degree. San Antonio like the AAF. San Diego came out for it, but the other markets really didn't hit in other markets, man. So I know you had an AAF team in Memphis, and Johnny Football came for a couple of weeks. Now it's all gone. So like it was a good concept going, and then just shutting down all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, it's the craziest thing, man. You know, grand opening, grand closing, you know, apparently with the AAF. And, you know, you talked about the team here in Memphis. And there's a little buzz. I mean, people really don't care about spring football. But, however, if you win to start the season out, then, you know, you'll get a little interest. But, of course, the Memphis team here started like 0-3. So, you know, the interest quickly died down. Then you get giant football and got folks a little bit hype about it. But, I mean, it just seemed like it was bad management, you know, from the start with, you know, the AAF as a whole there. You know, it has to be very embarrassing, man. And then the guy that came in and tried to save the league, that was pretty much a waste of money. You know, the Hurricanes owner, the NHL team in Carolina, that owner tried to, you know, influx the league with some cash there, man. Put like $60-70 million in there. So he just pretty much threw his money down the toilet, it seemed like.
Yeah, and it seemed like, you know, the guys are developing, or hopefully some guys will get a shot this year for an NFL roster. But the XFL is going to be coming back in 2020. So if this league didn't work, how do you think Vince McMahon will throw this money down the drain too? Because of what I'm reading here, $272 million of his own money he's put up to fund the XFL.
Yes, but I'm hearing with the XFL, like, they already have all their ducks in a row as far as insurance and things of that nature to cover the players. Like, the XFL is like light years ahead of where the AAF was. For example, Boss, I don't know if you're familiar, like players in Florida or the Orlando team, the AAF team, like when they practice, were you aware they had to go over to Georgia to practice because of workers' comp?
I was.
Florida.
To Kingsland, Georgia. Yep. And they stayed in Jacksonville in the hotel.
Yeah, man. So, Florida didn't have workers' comp laws, you know, so if players got hurt or anything in practice, at least they'll be covered, you know, in the state of Georgia. That's crazy. Like, and that pretty much describes the league in a nutshell right there. Like, from the get-go, they just never had their ducks in a row. Didn't have the right insurance. Didn't really have things together the way anytime you launch in a new league, you're rolling out with something new, man. You want to make sure you have all those things in place. And, you know, for them to be like the NFL, you know, is to blame for this, for not, you know, allowing players to, you know, to play in the AAF as like a farm type system. You can't blame the NFL, man, for that. Y'all supposed to have already had that worked out with the NFL before this thing even started.
Let me tell you another AAF bad tale. Most teams don't have a PR contact. So, say if I wanted to go and cover a Memphis Express game or a Birmingham Iron game or Atlanta Legends game, I know who to contact.
Exactly.
From the website, I see salespeople. I see how they buy tickets, but not a media contact, a PR person.
Mm-hmm.
You send an email to them, you get no response.
Yeah, and then I heard the media members that were there for like the cover, you know, the press conferences or on field access or whatever. like they could only do it for like a certain period of time. You know what I'm saying? Like I think they had limits on what they could film and what they couldn't film. Like if you the AAF, you need all the coverage you can get. How you gonna limit the media on what they can film during your practices? That made no sense.
Yeah, because I wanted to have on Steve Spurrier. I want to have on Mike Singletary. Who would I reach out to get them on the show?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like it's poorly put together by people who knew better. You talk about Bill Polians, man, guys that are football lifers, man. Guys that are respected. My guy Ebersol. Guys that have been in this business for years, as far as television and marketing and things of that nature, man. And it seems like you think of all that experience, like somebody would have made sure all their ducks were in a row before rolling out, man, with a poor product as far as off the field, the way they put things together there.
Now, this is my other thing about the XFL coming to JC is this. The calendar. The first part of February, yeah, you good. But once you get into March Madness with the tournaments and Final Four, then you roll into the NBA playoffs, where's your spot on the calendar to actually be watchable,
Right.
Unless you can't do it during the middle of guys gonna be in the NFL, so you can't really do it in you can't do it in June, in July and August because that's training camp time. So it's like for a second league, there's no sweet spot really.
No doubt. Exactly, man. It was going to be a tough hill to climb anyway. But if you don't have things like your marketing and promotions and all that in order, man, before it even starts, man, you pretty much doomed. You pretty much doomed yourself to begin with.
I think Vince McMahon wastes his money again. That's what I think. I don't see.
You think so?
I don't see. I just feel like if you start right to Super Bowl ends. I mean, you got February, but we get into March Madness, tough. You lose interest in it. You watch college basketball for 4 whole weeks there. Then you go to the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. Then you get to go to the NBA finals. I just don't see where you fit, where you will be relevant to the sports eye or the sports news.
Right. Right.
So you always be flying underneath the surface no matter what you do.
Right.
Now, I'll watch it like football. Yeah. I'll watch, but I'm not going to just be trying to, let me look at the XFL tonight. Oh, my God. Now, if I see he hate me out there, I may watch that because I like he hate me.
Right.
That was my thing. He hate me. But beyond that, I just don't see where there's an appetite for it beyond, the first week in March.
Yeah, you're right. I think they always banking on that Americans just love football. No matter if it's the NFL or any type of league, people going to watch football. And, I mean, to a certain degree, yeah, but you got to give them something to watch, man. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of these leagues just come off as novelty acts. And, it would have been nice if the AAF would have been able to partner and team with the NFL. But they didn't make that happen. So, it is what it is at this point.
Maybe it gives them an NFL idea for the start of developmental league, like they should have with the World League, the NFL Europe League.
Right.
Maybe they'll give them a reason to bring that back.
Exactly. I can see that happening eventually.
Now, bro, Julio Jones said he didn't want to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. I think he's lying. I think he wants to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. And I think for Julio Jones, Matt Ryan getting $30 million a year starting next year. I think a 5-year, $100 million deal, $60 million guaranteed to be good for Julio Jones. Sets at the receiver market at that number right there. Antonio Brown, he didn't get all he could from the Raiders. He was kind of in a bind. He's $16.77 million. One for Julio Jones, probably $20 million. So what are your thoughts on Julio Jones' contract dispute with the Falcons? He's not going to be at OTAs or any of the workouts. How you see it shaking out for Julio Jones?
I mean, you can make an argument year in, year out that Julio, if he's not the best receiver in the league, he's definitely top 3, always top 5, in the NFL year in, year out, pretty much every year since he's been there. And for the most part, the guy, he keeps his nose clean, man, never causes a problem off the field, always produces on the field, man. He's going down the Hall of Fame, when it's all said and done. And I mean, if I'm Arthur Blank, man, and like I said, you can attest to this more because you're right there, boss covering the team. But you know what I'm saying, as far as what Julio Jones, his value on the field, his value off of the field, the type of guy that he is, and you want to reward guys like that. And I know Arthur Blank loves his players, man. He loves his guys, and a guy like that produces, a quiet guy, never has to cause too many ripples, never cause too many. He's not a TO, he's not a team, obliterator, as Skip called a TO. But if he's not, if you don't give him Odell money, I think you have to, get somewhere in that ballpark. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see a $20 million a year for Julio, guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the guarantee value would be over the course of the contract. But as far as per year, I would definitely pay Julio $20 million a year.
I wouldn't pay Grady Jarrett $15.9 million on the franchise tag, but Grady Jarrett wants Aaron Donald money. You're not Aaron Donald, bro.
Exactly.
You're not Aaron Donald, bro.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Know your level. Know your worth. Yeah, exactly.
He think he's Aaron Donald player. You're not, bro. We're coming up on it, man. Mike Conley got about 2 games left with the Memphis Grizzlies at home, man. How cities feeling about Mike Conley, because they know last time you may see him is April 10th against the Warriors out there, man.
Yeah, it could be. It could be the end, man. The way it's trending right now, I do believe that we have seen the last Mike Conley here in Memphis, man. And I think it's going to be a mutual parting. Mike, he deserves a chance to go somewhere else and win, and have a chance to be an all-star somewhere. Preferably in the Eastern Conference. And the Grizz, if you do, it's not a terrible thing if you do hold on to Mike for next year. But, it's time, man. If you're going to go ahead and rebuild, let's go ahead and just tear it down, start from scratch. And you definitely want to give Conley the opportunity to go somewhere where he could be successful as well.
And, bruh, the Grizz are winning too much. They're in danger of losing that pick. They got to stay 8th or below. It's like they're scrapping, so some wins is hurting keeping that pick, man. I know you don't give that pick to Boston this year.
The game plan, early on in the season, the Grizz started a 12-5 run. Folks here got all giddy thinking that, this team can make a playoff run, and the bottom fell out. And all the losing occurred. Marcus All is traded. So the consensus now was, okay, let's try to convey the pick. But, I mean, you have to give the Grizz credit because they are putting a, quality product out there. Those guys are playing hard. They're not the most talented team in the world, but they never laid down this season. They had stretches where, lack of focus and just some bad luck here and there caused them to lose a string of games. But for the most part, man, especially after Marcus All left, you see, like, hey, some of these guys can really play. You know what I'm saying? Like Valanciunas, we knew what he was in Toronto, but I mean, this guy's putting up almost like 20 and 10, since he's been here. Delion Wright, he's looked good in stretches, man. Like they got some pieces to work towards for the future, man. And once you bring Jared Jackson back next year, like, I mean, the Grizz could be a young, exciting team, not a playoff team, no time soon. But I mean, it's at least for this season, man. Those guys play hard, man. I think if you're a Grizz fan, you have to be able to appreciate, that hard work and effort, man, from the team overall.
And tonight at Clicks, bro, it's going to be a Final Four watch party, after party, right? Tonight at Clicks. What's going to be popping off tonight after the games go off there?
That's right, man. After all the games go off the air, man, it's going down each and every Saturday night. Like Bob said, the Final Four edition of Clicks, karaoke, Saturday Night Live, Three Kings, all that good stuff. Come on out. The livest party in the city, man. You know how we get down, man. The best drinks, the best food. It's the best overall party. It goes down every Saturday. Holler at your man.
No doubt, folks. Check my man out. His group on Facebook, Three Kings. Know about everything karaoke in the city of Memphis, Three Kings, and Memphis Got Talent. Bruh, good to get you back on the line, man. Got to keep this train going, bro, for sure.
I'm back, man. Hey, man. I'm going back to back. Make it happen again next week, man. I'm going back to back.
No doubt, folks. That's my man, J.C. Smith of Memphis here on the Bossman Show.